tathaiva tattva-vijñānam tathaiva tattva-vijñānam tathaiva tattva-vijñānam astu te mad-anugrahāt astu te mad-anugrahāt astu te mad-anugrahāt yāvān ahaṁ yathā-bhāvo yad-rūpa-guṇa-karmakaḥ tathaiva tattva-vijñānam astu te mad-anugrahāt yāvān ahaṁ yathā-bhāvo yad-rūpa-guṇa-karmakaḥ tathaiva tattva-vijñānam astu te mad-anugrahāt yāvān ahaṁ yathā-bhāvo yad-rūpa-guṇa-karmakaḥ tathaiva tattva-vijñānam astu te mad-anugrahāt yāvān ahaṁ yathā-bhāvo yad-rūpa-guṇa-karmakaḥ tathaiva tattva-vijñānam astu te mad-anugrahāt yāvān, as I am in eternal form, aham, myself, yathā, as much as, bhāvaḥ, transcendental existence, yad, those, rūpa, various forms and colors, guna, qualities, karmakaḥ, activities, tathā, so and so, eva, certainly, tattva-vijñānam, factual realization, astu, let it be, te, unto you, mad, mine, anugrahāt, by causeless mercy. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Please repeat the translation. All of me, namely my actual eternal form, and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. I continue reading the purport from the 6th paragraph. The Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities, and one of them is His affection for His unalloyed devotee. In the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate His transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates Himself for the protection of His devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relationship with His devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relationship with His devotees, and the non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when He was only 7 years old and protected His pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now this lifting of the Govardhan hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless, but for the devotees it is absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say, the Lord is almighty, but do not believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is the Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for millions of years or by mental speculation for billions of years. The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse, because it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord has His qualities, form, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realizations by the devotee of the Lord. And because of this mercy of the Lord, they are revealed to His pure devotee and to no one else. Thus ends the Bhakti-Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurun-militam yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha Namaha Om Vishnu-padaya Krishna-preshaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti-Vedanta Swami-niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharye Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these are words spoken by Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. They are spoken to Brahma, and the Lord is telling Brahma that Brahma can get factual realization of the personal feature of the absolute truth, the personality of God. So one of the attributes of the personal feature is the transcendental qualities of the Lord. The impersonalists, when they hear about the word quality, guna, they immediately think or consider God is nirguna. So nirguna literally means without any qualities. But the devotees understand that nirguna means without any material qualities. Our experience in this world is that there are so many different material qualities. Every object, material object has got quality. Every person has quality. Now, the objects have qualities based on the material they are made of. This table, if it's a wooden table, it has got qualities of wood. If there is a metal table, it will have qualities of metal. So that we can understand, these are all material qualities based on the material of which the object is made. Now what about a person of this world? What are his qualities like? So we can understand there are qualities of a person which are different than the qualities of different material objects when you consider a person. So person means he has feelings. He has got affection. He has got anger. He has got some compassion. So these are all personal qualities which are not to be found in any material object, in any dead thing, material thing. So these are qualities or attributes of a person. But our experience in this world also is that the personal qualities are not permanent qualities. A person's qualities keep changing. Just like a child may display some playful behavior or playful qualities. The same child grows up and becomes a mature person, then the playful qualities are not there. So we see these qualities of a person can change. So even though we understand person's qualities are different than the qualities of this material objects, still, because the qualities are changing, we do not attribute those qualities to the soul, to the eternal soul within the body, to the real person. And Bhagavad Gita also describes every person who takes birth in this world has got what is called as an acquired nature. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti paramtapa. At the beginning of creation, every person has got a certain acquired quality due to association with the gunas, with material nature. Karanam guna samgosya sarasa gyoni janmasu. Everybody takes birth according to the association with the gunas, and accordingly they have different qualities. So, the qualities a person displays or appears to have are not spiritual qualities. They are all material qualities. Even though they are not like the qualities of matter, still they are material qualities. Which means to say that if the absolute truth is without material qualities, nirguna, then the absolute truth will not have any of the qualities that we have or we display. So if we display anger, then the scriptures also say, you should control anger. Anger is not good for you. Anger may lead to so many dangerous things. Just like somebody becomes very angry, then they lose their discrimination. They lose their intelligence. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. One becomes bewildered. One's intelligence is lost, or memory is completely bewildered. So, anger should be controlled. Anger is not a good quality. One should conquer anger. So naturally, the conclusion will be, this anger is actually a material quality. It is not a desirable quality. And certainly we don't expect that the absolute truth will have anger. Because absolute truth is nirguna, without any material qualities. So then how do we understand that the Supreme Lord appears in his form as Narasimha and he displays anger? So the impersonalists will say, oh, that incarnation of Narasimha is a material incarnation, a material form. Material form, naturally there will be anger. And that anger has to be controlled. And that is why the impersonalists will say, oh, Bhagavatam it is described, the Lord was very angry, Narasimha was very angry. Then Prahlad Maharaj went and pacified the Lord, and then the Lord became free from anger. And then very lovingly he placed his lotus hand on Prahlada and blessed him. Sometimes even God becomes angry when he comes in the material form. And then his anger has to come down. Just like a human being of this world. He becomes angry, then he has to pacify himself, or somebody has to pacify him. He has to give up his anger. Like that, God also. So they say that absolute truth actually doesn't have any form. But when the absolute truth incarnates, then the Absolute Truth may accept some material form. And that material form may display sometimes anger, sometimes display compassion, even compassion. Compassion also, the impersonalists think, if a person has compassion, that compassion sometimes we see is misplaced. Just like a mother is very, very compassionate with her child. But we also know when the mother does not strictly correct the child and the child grows up with some pampering by the mother, then everybody will say, mother has spoiled the child. So she should not have shown compassion for the child when it was not properly placed, improperly placed compassion, undue compassion. So even this compassion, this materialistic or this impersonalists will say, oh, that's also a material quality. That quality also should be absent in the Lord or in the Absolute Truth, it should not be there. This is material quality. So the impersonalists will argue that all these qualities we see in a person of this world are all material qualities. So there is no question of Absolute Truth having compassion, Absolute Truth having anger, Absolute Truth having any personal qualities. So it goes on to prove their point, apparently, that the Absolute Truth is impersonal, does not have personality. Because person means having some material qualities. But the Bhagavatam describes that the Absolute Truth is a transcendental person, and Absolute Truth has got transcendental qualities. Now what are these transcendental qualities? What is this transcendental personality? This cannot be understood if we try to understand through our material conception of a person. In this world, we only have experience of what is a material conception of a person. We know of people who take birth and they may be having a good birth, they may be having a very good education, they may be having so many good qualities, but we also know that ultimately even such persons with good qualities, good birth, good education, good upbringing, they also ultimately die. They also become old. They also lose their all their qualities. The qualities they may display for some time, but it's all ultimately lost. So, the experience we have of a person in this world, however great the person may be, however nice qualities the person may display, still our experience is a temporary personality. A temporary personality. But the Bhagavatam goes on to describe there is another kind of personality. An eternal person. Purusham Shashwatam Divyam. Bhagavad Gita describes, in the words of Arjuna, Arjuna describes Krishna. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashwatam Divyam. Eternally, the Supreme Person, the Transcendental Person. Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahma. Param Dhama, the Supreme Resting Place for everyone and everything. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam, Supreme Pure. Pavitram Paramam, Bhavan, you, Krishna, you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the Supreme Abode, you are the Supreme Pure. You are eternally a person. Purusham Shashwatam. Purusham means person. Shashwatam means eternal person. Divyam, you are transcendental person. Adi Devam, you are the origin of all Devatas. Now Devatas have so many good qualities in this world. Compared to humans, compared to other created beings, devatas have so many good qualities. They have beautiful form, they have long lifespan, they have noble qualities. So even those devatas, they have an origin, Adi-devam, that is Krishna. Adi-devam, Ajam, Krishna is unborn. But Ajopisan Avyayatma, even though Krishna is actually unborn, he appears to take birth. Ajopisan Avyayatma, Bhutanam Ishwaropisan, Prakritim Swamadhisthaya, Sambhavami. Krishna appears in this world. Krishna takes birth, appears to take birth. That birth is described as Janma Karma Chame Divyam. That is transcendental appearance, transcendental birth. That birth is part of his pastimes, Leela. Transcendental activity, that part of his transcendental activity, taking birth. So, there is a different kind of personality, not within our experience normally, but which is described in the scriptures like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And those type of qualities or appearance or activities or transcendental form, all transcendental name, all these are described in the confidential portions of the Vedic literature. So, when we hear about the personality of Godhead from the scriptures, it is clearly stated in the scriptures that we should give up all our material conceptions of form, person, qualities, or activities. We have to give up all those conceptions. To help us give up those conceptions, the Vedanta philosophy says the absolute truth is nirguna, nirakara, nirvishesha, nirvikalpa. So all the negation is negation of material qualities, material form, material personality, material attributes. And at the same time, there are transcendental attributes, Sachidananda Vigraha. Janma karma chame divyam, Sambhavami atmamaya. All these are transcendental attributes, spiritual qualities, spiritual name, spiritual form, spiritual qualities. So these are entirely different from material qualities. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand from the Bhagavad Gita that if a person becomes angry, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguna samudbhava. It is a product of Rajoguna. Whereas, please put your mobiles on silent mode, it disturbs the class. Whereas, the material qualities a person displays, like Kama, Krodha, are product of Rajoguna. Krishna's qualities are not a product of any of the gunas. He is gunatita. He is above the material modes. So, when Lord appears as, Absolute Truth appears as Narsimha, he displays anger. That is not a result of Rajoguna, because he is completely transcendental to the modes. Then, what is that anger? That anger is actually one of the transcendental reciprocation of the Lord with his devotees. Transcendental reciprocation. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he was giving so much trouble to Prahlad, even though Prahlad was his own son. And the only fault of this boy was that he was chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, Narayana. And Hiranyakashipu, with some misunderstanding, thought that Vishnu or Narayana is his enemy. So So Hiranyakashipu was telling his son, why are you glorifying or chanting the name of my enemy? So Prahlad tried to explain very gently, very patiently, very nicely. Vishnu is not your enemy. Vishnu is nobody's enemy. Vishnu is everybody's best friend, topmost well-wisher, Suhrudam sarva-bhutanam. But Hiranyakashipu would not try to understand, would not agree. He only became more and more angry and more inimical to Prahlad. So, out of his anger, inimical attitude, he began to give trouble to Prahlad. So much so that the boy was tortured. He was tortured mercilessly. And that made the Lord very angry against Hiranyakashipu. Why did you torture my son, my devotee? Why did you torture your son, my devotee? So, when the Lord displays anger, it is transcendental anger, out of his affection for his devotees. So, Prabhupada mentions here in this purport, the Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities, and one of them is his affection for his unadorned devotee. So, Prahlad is a pure devotee of the Lord has got affection for his devotee Prahlad, and when his devotee is in danger, is in trouble, is being troubled by somebody, the Lord will protect his devotee, and in the course of protecting his devotee, the Lord may actually do anything to the non-devotee. To the perpetrator of the trouble, the Lord may do anything. So because Hiranyakashipu was giving so much trouble to Prahlad, Narasimha became very angry against Hiranyakashipu. And in that anger, he actually killed Hiranyakashipu and all his supporters also, who came to attack Lord Narasimha. So, this display of anger is called transcendental anger. Why? Why is it called transcendental anger? It appears like, anger which is there in this material world, which is displayed by any ordinary person. No, it is not. Because such anger is not a result of Rajoguna. Why? Because the Lord is unaffected by the gunas. He is completely transcendentally situated above the gunas. How is that he is above the gunas? Because he is the controller, the master, the source of all the gunas. All the gunas are being controlled by the Lord, and they are employed for a different purpose by the Lord. So, when he displays anger, it is his internal potency, his Atma Maya or Yoga Maya. Lord has got different energies. One of his energies, called his internal potency, is employed by the Lord for the sake of his devotees. So for the sake of Prahlad, the Lord employed his internal potency, and using his internal potency, he displayed anger. He displayed affection for Prahlad. He blessed the demigods. The demigods were so much harassed by Hiranyakashipu. So the demigods prayed to the Supreme Lord that you have to do something to stop this terrorist activities of Hiranyakashipu. He had terrorized the whole universe. So the demigods prayed to the Lord. So the Lord, in response to the demigods' prayers, he came and finished off this terrorist Hiranyakashipu. So the Lord employs his internal potency for the sake of his activities, for the sake of displaying transcendental qualities, for the sake of protecting his devotees. And that is completely free from the interactions of the gunas. The internal potency is completely a different potency, a different energy. It is completely spiritual. And the effect of the internal potency is that When the Lord kills anybody, because the Lord employs his internal potency, the person who is killed is actually liberated. Generally, any person in this world who dies under the influence of the gunas, such a person has to take birth again in this material world and has to undergo the reactions of his karma, past karma. Whereas when the Lord kills somebody, such a person killed by the Lord is very fortunate that he becomes purified of all karma, all sinful reactions, becomes completely purified by the touch of the Lord. And also the person gets liberation. Person gets liberation. That liberation is not possible if a person dies under the influence of the gunas. So from that we can understand the Lord's killing is as good as his protection. Both are meant for the ultimate welfare of the particular person being killed or protected. So when the Lord protects his devotees or the Lord kills the demons, both of them are benefited by the Lord transcendentally. Both of them are getting spiritual benefit from the Lord. It appears like the Lord is partial to the devatas. The Lord is partial to the devotees. But actually the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshu asti na priyaha. Nobody is the object of envy of the Lord. Nobody is the object of special favor of the Lord. Then we see that the Lord is sometimes favoring his devotees. What about this favor? How do we understand? That's explained here with Prabhupada. That the Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra. The Brajavasis once, they were preparing for the Indra Yajna because they wanted to offer their gratitude to Indra who supplies rain. The Brajavasis, they are agriculturists. They depend on the land and cows, so they require water. So that water being supplied by Indra as the controller of rains, annually they would worship Indra by performing one Indra Yajna. So Krishna, when he was 7 years old in Vrindavan, when the Brajavasis were getting ready for one Indra Yajna, he stopped them from doing Indra Yajna. And he told, instead of worshipping Indra, you worship Govardhana. So the Brajavasis, because they are very attached to Krishna, very affectionate to Krishna, they agreed to follow Krishna's direction to not worship Indra, but to worship Govardhana. So when they worship Govardhana, Indra became angry. Why are these Brajavasis not worshipping me? So I will teach them a lesson. So he became angry against the Brajavasis and he sent forth torrential rains, devastating rains. And when the Brajavasis were harassed in this way, they approached Krishna and told him to protect them against this torrential rainfall. So what did Krishna do? Krishna simply lifted the Govardhan hill and protected the Brajavasis. Then Indra realized his mistake. And Indra came, he stopped the rainfall and came and apologized to Krishna, offered wonderful prayers to Krishna. He understood who is Krishna, not a ordinary cowherd boy, not simply some powerful yogi, because Krishna lifted the Govardhan and protected the inhabitants of Vrindavana. So somebody may think Krishna is some powerful yogi. No, Krishna is not powerful yogi. Not just another cowherd boy. Not simply some attractive child who is the center of attraction of the Brajavasis. No. He is actually the Supreme Lord who is the master of all the devas, all the demigods. So Indra understood that Krishna is my master. He is my well-wisher. So therefore he came and begged forgiveness and he offered wonderful prayers to Krishna. So the devatas, because they are devotees, even if sometimes they mistake Krishna to be an ordinary person, By Krishna's grace, their mistaken understanding of Krishna is corrected by Krishna. Their mistaken understanding is corrected by Krishna. And they actually offer wonderful prayers to Krishna. They actually beg forgiveness from Krishna. They actually seek Krishna's protection and blessings. Whereas the demons, because they are non-devotees, therefore they cannot understand the personality of Krishna. They cannot understand the incarnations of the Lord. They cannot understand the personality of Vishnu. They categorize Vishnu as a person of this world. They categorize Vishnu as one of the devatas. They categorize Vishnu to be just another powerful devata. But they cannot understand Vishnu is not just another powerful devata. He is not a person of this world. He is completely a transcendental personality. He is the master of the gunas. He is the master of the devatas. He is the source of everything that they cannot understand. So, non-devotees, whether they be demons, whether they be impersonalists, whether they be yogis, whether they be jnanis, whether they be tapasvis, whether they be pious actors, they can never understand the personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna or Narasimha or Vamana or Narayana. They cannot understand as long as they don't take to devotional service. So the only way to understand this aspect of the Absolute Truth, the personality aspect, whether it is personal qualities, or personal form, or personal name, of the Absolute Truth, of the personality of God, a transcendental personality, we cannot understand without it. So Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Bhaktyāmāṁ abhijanāti yāvān yad-rūpa-guṇa-karmakaḥ. In truth, if you want to understand what is the nature of the personality of the Absolute Truth, then you have to take the devotional service. Bhaktyāmāṁ. So, only by bhakti it is possible to understand the Absolute Truth as a person. And that person is the supreme, ultimate manifestation of the Absolute. The supreme, the source of even Brahman and Paramatma, the source of impersonal Brahman, the source of all energies, the source of everything and everyone. So that source is ultimately the supreme person, Krishna. And that is what the Bhagavatam describes. So Brahma is now given the realization of the Absolute Truth as the supreme person. That is what Brahma is getting the realization through the mercy of Vishnu. And that is being described here by the Supreme Lord. Okay, let's stop here. Any questions? Now when we talk of location, we are talking of material space. Just like I am sitting here, or all of us are sitting in this hall. So we are not in some other place. We may have a residence or we may have a place of residence. So if you are here, you are not in your home. If you are in your home, you are not in the temple. Right? So we say a person is in a particular place based on where his body is. Correct? After all, the body is matter. Matter or material object can have a material location, a place. Even when it comes to subtle matter, this is gross matter. For example, a person is sitting in this hall, but mentally he can be somewhere else. He can be in his home. Right? He's sitting here, but he's thinking of his home. Maybe. He's left his child and come. Oh child, afraid, where is my father? Where has he gone? Child may be waiting, anxiously waiting for me to go back home. So I have to return immediately. Okay. So mentally he may be not here. Mentally he can be somewhere else. So where is the mind? If I ask you, where is the mind? Is it here? Or is it there? Or is it in America? So what is the answer? Where is the mind? Mind is where your thoughts are. That is where the mind is. Generally, our thoughts are centered around our body. Therefore, we say the mind is inside here. But actually, the mind cannot be located in physical space because mind is not a physical object. This table, does it have a mind? No. So table is here means it's here, that's all. You cannot say table is here but it can also be somewhere else. No, not possible. Similarly, your body, gross body, you can only say it is in one place. You cannot say your body is here as well as in your house. No. If your body is here, it's not in the house. But your mind is not like that. Your mind is where your thoughts are. If you are thinking of your body, then your mind is in the body. If you are thinking of America, your mind is in America. It's not difficult to understand, isn't it? Likewise, where is the soul? The soul has got an attribute called consciousness. Consciousness belongs to the soul. So if you are bodily conscious, where is the soul? In the body. If you are Krishna conscious, where is the soul? With Krishna. If you are America conscious, where is your soul? In America. So the soul is where the consciousness is. Now the consciousness need not be in one place always. The consciousness can be changed. Generally, people are body conscious. So they think, I am the body. So where is their soul? In the body. If they are conscious of their wealth, all the time thinking money, 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 sweeter than honey, then where is their consciousness? In money. So where are they? Where is the soul? In money. If they are very much attached to some person, then where is their consciousness? In that person. So they are always with that person. Always with that person. So the soul is where the consciousness is. If you become Krishna conscious, then you are with Krishna. You are always where your consciousness is. So if you become Krishna conscious and you become fixed up in Krishna consciousness, then you are always with Krishna. Even though your body may be here, your mind may be somewhere else, it doesn't matter. Your consciousness is Krishna consciousness, you are with Krishna. And where is Krishna? Krishna is always in the spiritual world. So you are always spiritual world. So if you want to go to the spiritual world, you have to change your consciousness from material consciousness to Krishna consciousness. So going to the spiritual world involves a change of consciousness. That's all. That's why Krishna says, Man-mana, think of me. Bhakto, become my devotee. What happens if you think of Krishna? Then you are with Krishna. If you think of Krishna, you are with Krishna. If you become Krishna's devotee, then your consciousness is Krishna consciousness. The consciousness is changed. We become his devotee. So now coming to the question, where is the super soul? Super soul is again person. Person means consciousness. What is consciousness of the super soul? Paramatma? Krishna consciousness. So where is the super soul? Wherever the Krishna is. In this spiritual world. But we also read in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse that says, the Supreme Lord as Ishvara, as the Paramatma, He is in the heart region of every living entity. He is inside every living entity, in the heart region, hrideshe. It's a particular location. So that is the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord Krishna, who has entered into the heart of every living entity in order to animate this body, in order to give intelligence to the soul who is trapped in this body, to help that soul. The Supreme Lord expands Himself and enters into every body, everybody's heart, and gives the person knowledge, gives him remembrance, enables him to utilize this body for certain purposes. Just like I am using this body for the sake of eating food and digesting the food. So Paramatma is present in the heart region and He manifests on fire of digestion called Vaishvanara. That also Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Ahaṁ Vaishvanaro bhūtva praninam dehamashritaha pranapana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidham. We simply eat some rice, dal, pongal, whatever you like. How is it digested? What are you doing for digestion? You can't do anything. Only when food is not digested, you come to know, oh, I have indigestion, I have loose motion, I am vomiting, I have stomach pain. Then you run to the doctor. But actually, when digestion happens, everything is fine. Who is digesting the food? How is the food getting digested? You are not doing anything. It is Paramatma who is digesting the food. By manifesting one fire of digestion called Vaishvanara. So Paramatma is here for my sake, for me to digest the food I am eating, for me to lift my hand. Paramatma is seated there and He has made one elaborate arrangement called nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, muscular system. See, some signal in the brain, signal comes here, the nerves give another signal to the muscle to contract, and the muscle contracts, and then I lift my hand. I foolishly think, I am lifting my hand. Neither this is my hand, nor I am able to lift this hand. It is Paramatma who is animating this body. So in that sense, we can say Paramatma is here. But since Paramatma is a spiritual personality, He cannot be located in space, material space. So they search for Paramatma inside, they will never find Paramatma. Because Paramatma is a spiritual personality, not a physical body, not a physical object. What is there in material space? Physical object. You can locate. Even mind you cannot locate. What is become Paramatma? Can you locate the mind here? Or anywhere in space? Can you locate the mind? No. Mind is not a gross physical object. So it doesn't have a physical location. Similarly, Paramatma doesn't have physical location. So when Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, I am seated in everybody's heart as Paramatma, it means that the Lord is actually enabling everything that is happening in this body as Paramatma. In His feature as Paramatma, He is facilitating everything that is happening in this body. He is the one who gives this body what is called as consciousness. Otherwise the body is dead matter. Body is dead matter. Like this table is dead matter. Similarly, body is also dead matter. It is made up of earth, water, fire and sky. Similarly, table also. But how is this body appearing to have life symptoms? It's only because of the presence of Paramatma, who manifests something called chetana, consciousness. The consciousness that is flowing in this body is due to the pancha vayu, prana, apana, samana, udana. In common parlance they say, when a person dies, what do they say? Prana hoitu. Pran chale gaya. In Tamil also you say pran. Tamil you say that? Yes. When a person dies? Prana poichu. Pran. Pran poichu. Huh? So what is that prana? The Paramatma has left, and along with him the prana is gone. The consciousness which animates this body, which makes this body living, show life symptoms, that is gone. So I am not in this body, and because of me, oh, this body is living. No! It is because of Paramatma the body appears to be living. Of course, I am also there in this body, trapped in the false consciousness called body consciousness. I think I am this body. I think this body is mine. Aham, mama. Two conceptions for the false ego, ahaṁkara. What is that? One is that I am this body, or this body is mine. Two conceptions. So both are actually false conceptions of the soul, of the person, of the you, of the real you. So you are not the body, neither the body belongs to you, but you think like that out of false ego, ahaṁkara. In reality, what is happening? Paramatma is animating this body and make you feel as if you are the body or the body belongs to you. To facilitate your sense gratification, your enjoyment, material enjoyment, Paramatma is making elaborate arrangement. But it is a temporary arrangement, nevertheless. It's not a permanent arrangement. So actually the Paramatma is not here. Paramatma is spiritual. Paramatma is the Supreme Person. But he